Good evening from London, wrestling fans. I'm your host, Ben Allison, and you are listening to Wrestling Republic's daily broadcast, your one-stop shop for pro wrestling insight, news, and reviews on a daily basis. We're just hours away from the start of the World Heavyweight Championship tournament over on Raw, where 12 men will compete for the chance to become Raw's top champion. Joining me today to discuss all of this and more, firstly, the head of reviewing, Coby Galenzoski. How are you today, Coby?
We're going good. We are still recovering from the spectacle that was WWE Backlash of this year, and we got Monday Night Raw kicking it off with a hot. As the build up to Night of Champions, we got to find out who represents Raw in the position for the World Heavyweight Championship.
And also joining us today to talk all about this, Chaos. How are you, Chaos?
What's up, gentlemen? Happy Monday and everything. It's I'm pretty much in the same boat as Coby in terms of just getting over this, calming down. It's the come down time, come down period in terms of the hype levels that Backlash absolutely exceeded. And let's get straight into the tournament, shall we? It should be a great night.
Absolutely.
I don't think either of us used the word recovery, and that's comedy.
Fair enough.
But yes, we're gonna get to talk about the World Heavyweight Championship tournament, which is gonna be on Raw tonight, and we're gonna kick things off with that. But very quickly, first, of course, Chaos, you mentioned Backlash. I just want to very quickly get your thoughts on Backlash as a whole. What did you think of the show?
It was way better than I expected. It had no business being that good. I mean, I knew it was going to be crazy because just before that pay-per-view, I rewatched New Year's Revolution, which was the last pay-per-view held in Puerto Rico, and the atmosphere then was crazy. But they brought it out. They brought it out. I mean, it just shows that the business is great when you go on. Even I know Puerto Rico is still part of America, it's all good, but like if you go outside and go to the Latino community, they are passionate. They brought the vibes, they brought the excitement to the matches. The matches, not one match really disappointed in my opinion. It was a great pay-per-view. Definitely gonna be in my top 10 pay-per-views of the year. I definitely 100% when we do that list.
Yes, certainly. I completely agree with you there as well. Was a banger of a show, and that crowd was incredible. But let's talk now about tonight's episode of Monday Night Raw. And of course, tonight the championship tournament is going to be getting underway, where 12 wrestlers will be competing for that to become the first World Heavyweight Champion. Because it seems like WWE are going to treat this as a new title and not acknowledge previous champions with the World Heavyweight Championship from before. It's all confusing because they've gone with that same name, but as of right now, it does seem like because they use the word inaugural champion. But tonight, 6 competitors of the 12 will be competing on Raw with Seth Rollins, Finn Balor, Damian Priest, The Miz, and Shinsuke Nakamura, and Cody Rhodes, competing in 2 triple threat matches, with the winners then facing off in the main event of the evening. Now, WWE are yet to announce what order these triple threats are going to be, so we don't know if, it could be Seth Rollins, Finn Balor, and Miz in one, or if it could be Priest, Nakamura, and Cody in another. We don't know yet. It could be any combination. The safe presumption for me would be to put Finn Balor and Damian Priest in the opposite triple threat match. Otherwise, you've got 2 Judgment Day members in one. But who knows what they're going to do. Maybe they'll randomly split up the Judgment Day. I really hope not. But let's very, very quickly, right? I'm going to pass it to you, Chaos. Based on those 6 names, who do you think is going to be the winner from Monday Night Raw?
So what we do know is that there's going to be 2 triple threat matches. So what It all depends on who's who. Like they gotta put like I think they should put at least Seth and Cody in 2 separate matches, or Seth and Finn Balor in 2 separate matches. Seth has to go through in one of them. Shinsuke, I'm very surprised they're giving him you know that I'm surprised that Shinsuke is actually getting a push.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's nice, it's good, it's nice and refreshing. And then yeah, if Cody is in the next one, it's between Cody and Finn. I really would rather Finn. I would rather like Finn win and Kobe gets his head caved in by Brock Lesnar. I don't think that is finished. I feel like that is definitely going that could probably happen if Cody is going to be in a separate match with Finn Balor in it. But yeah, my picks, I'm still going to stick to my guns. Seth Rollins in one match, Finn Balor in another one.
Yes, I do agree with you there that I think Seth Rollins could well be getting into the final tonight. But my actual opinion on the matter, I don't think Cody Rhodes is going to be competing tonight. I think Brock Lesnar is going to take him out before it.
I hope so. I hope so.
Going to continue that feud, and me and Kobe went on a rant about it yesterday. But I don't think Cody's going to be in it. I don't know who's going to replace him. I don't think it's going to be Brock. Maybe it'll be Randy Orton. Who knows? And we got Clark in the comments saying Randy Orton will be the World Heavyweight Champion. So he's really going into that possibility. But it could be anyone at the end of the day. Maybe it'll be Jordan Devlin. Sorry, JD McDonough, as they call him now. Maybe, as Matt Williams is saying on YouTube, maybe it'll be Carlito. It could be anyone who's thrown in there. But I think it'll be Seth Rollins, and I think it'll be Seth Rollins, Finn Balor in the main event tonight. And the reason for that is that this tournament is blatantly heavily inspired by the Universal one in 2016. So I think they're going to run back the final of that as the Raw final tonight, with Seth Rollins then going over as the winner. But Kobe, what do you think? What's your prediction for this, the Raw half of the tournament?
I mean, if we're looking at the Raw half, there's definitely things we can kind of decipher on ourselves. We probably are going to be in the position of where the Judgment Day mates of Damian Priest and Finn Balor aren't going to be in the same match. We could probably say The Miz and Shinsuke will, based on last week's Japanese dick joke, but I'll call it that I mean, I don't know how else to call it. Miz TV Japanese dick joke. That's what that was. At the end of the day, I do think Cody could be the potential to be taken out. I don't know who replaces him. I don't know if they replace him. I think that would be an interesting way to have someone like Finn Balor get an easy victory, or someone else in that matter, or someone like The Miz gets an easy victory. That could be the match. Is Seth Priest and Finn not Seth Priest and Finn. That could work. Seth Priest and Finn, and then Miz, Shinsuke, Cody. Miz and Shinsuke get the one-on-one. Cody gets taken out. Maybe Seth goes over. I don't know what way you go. I do think it is a possible reality that we do see Seth versus Finn in the finals. I guess my 2-3 ways I just named definitely contradict that. but at the end of the day, we can kind of decipher some of those things, like Miz and Shinsuke being in the same match. Priest and Finn. Does something happen between Priest and Finn if they were in the same match? Maybe.
Nah.
But I don't know what the direction of the Judgment Day is going forward, because we have Ripley as the champion, and then what else?
Yeah, let's not split up the Judgment Day yet, because
they're on
right now.
Especially after Backlash.
Dom is.
So is Rhea. Rhea's got Monster. Damian Priest just come out.
No, Rhea does not have Rhea does not have Monster.
Sorry, not Monster Heat. That's the wrong term, but she's got Monster Momentum right now, coming off that big win against Zelina Vega. And of course, Damian Priest coming off, even though he lost, a huge match.
Biggest match
against Bad Bunny.
And I think they said in the behind the scenes that WWE posted that Ripley said something about Priest. It was like, this is Priest's WrestleMania.
Yeah, they
100%
posted
true.
a YouTube video on that. Yeah,
It was their behind the scenes video or whatever
Yeah,
they call
Yeah.
it. And it was like,
And of
it's his
course,
WrestleMania.
Finn Balor, I mean, yeah, to be fair, Finn Balor's not really doing much, but I think he will win tonight. My prediction on the triple threats is I think it's going to be Finn, Miz, and Nakamura in one, and then Rollins, Priest, and insert name a person who replaces Cody Rhodes in the other one. That's my prediction. For it, here's a name I'm going to throw to you very quickly, Chaos. What would you think if WWE just shocked us today, right, and had Nakamura win the Raw side of the bracket? Would you be happy with that?
It's too far left field. He's got no momentum. I mean, he just like they teased with all this the Karrion Kross feud, which we thought was going to be a big thing, and then he was just a throwaway match on SmackDown. He doesn't really have that much momentum. I mean, I love Nakamura 110%, but I feel like the damage is cut. There's so much damage done to him in terms of just he's just permanent mid card. So they need to. I would love it. It'll be a nice twist, but I just don't think they would actually stick the landing if they actually made him win. And if he did, it just like the right is kind of on the wall. It doesn't feel like what if he could actually win the championship. So yeah, I wouldn't mind it if he had more momentum on his side, but yeah, just not at this moment in time. I wouldn't like if they did that.
Yeah, and I mean we talked about the Karrion Kross match the other day. It was kind of a situation where neither of them could lose because they both need momentum, but obviously one had to lose, and it was a disaster. It should have been longer, should have been a feud. They should have just said, "Screw it, let's put Karrion Kross on Raw then," if that's the case, because it's not like he's no offense to Karrion Kross, but it's not like he's some big pick. That would mess everything up if they can't get them on separate brands because the networks would be upset. So I went.
They dropped the ball on Karrion. He deserves more. Right? Like there was so much hype behind him when they re-signed him, and they just dropped the ball. So
completely. But the other one, of course, who if it's not Seth Rollins, the name people are saying could win is Cody Rhodes. Now I said earlier, I'm presuming that he's gonna lose. Not lose. He's gonna get taken out by Brock Lesnar before the match because that would make the most sense. Because listen, if Cody Rhodes wins this title, it's like a consolation prize. It truly is. I know everybody's saying that. That's not some unique take from me, but it truly is a consolation prize if Cody ends up winning it. And if Cody gets to the final and loses, well, then it kind of messes up his momentum to finish the story. Unless it was to a big heel and then they did a feud with them. But if they're a champion, he can't do a feud and then win. It's all a mess. I don't know why he's really in the tournament. I mean, if they get Brock to take him out beforehand, I've got no issue with it. It would make sense and all of that stuff. But Coby, do you see any way in which Cody does win tonight?
The only way I would see it is if they do actually run it back and he's in the match and the Raw finals is Seth and Cody. And they continue Seth gets the position of he lost to Cody again, which not necessarily, that was almost the whole reason that I said in January of we cannot go in that direction for WrestleMania, and I'm glad they never did. Seth was so over as a face, Cody returning over as a face, there was no way you could have did that match and made sense of Seth turning heel. At the end of the day, if that match happens as the final, it's a one-off. But I do want to think, like looking at this Raw and SmackDown fields, there's one omission that I don't know if that could happen or not happen, but if this replace could happen if Cody is taken out. Why is the U.S. champion in the SmackDown side and the IC champion not in this side?
I can't.
Where is Gunther?
I'll tell you why right now. I don't think they want Gunther taking a loss in any shape or form, even in terms of just losing and not taking a pinfall. I just don't think they want him to lose at all. Whereas with Austin Theory, I don't think they care as much. So I think it's because they're protecting Gunther. I agree with you though, Coby. No, Austin Theory shouldn't be on the SmackDown side. In fact, I don't think there should be a SmackDown side. We've just had a brand split. This is the Raw Championship, and 6 competitors from SmackDown are in it. So what will happen if somebody from SmackDown wins? Will they be automatically drafted to Raw? Will they be traded, some trade or something? Is that how we get Cody Rhodes back on SmackDown? If so, it's just weird, over-the-top booking. It's unnecessary. It frustrates.
I can continue your frustration. I got another omission. Where's LA Knight?
Oh no, I don't. What are you gonna say, Chaos?
No, I was gonna obviously give you the reason why the SmackDown team is actually on it, is because it's basically a business move. It's simply to do with ratings, because I think the NHL and NBA playoffs is on. And obviously they know that the ratings are going to actually dwindle, so they want to make this act really bolster it up with a lot of star power. That's why. That's a simple reason that SmackDown people. So it's purely a business move. Creative wise, it doesn't make sense. I get that, but it's purely a business move. That is why.
Well, I mean, they should just get some big names to show up or something instead of having to ruin the brand split. Oh, not even a weekend. 5 days into the brand split, the first SmackDown with the new brand.
They ruined it. They ruined it before it took into effect, because it takes into effect tonight.
It's record breaking for them, really. They've never ruined the brand split this quickly.
I mean, see, that's the interesting thing. To me, it's like, why? But yeah, exactly. It is 100% a business move.
Yeah.
We have the Stanley Cup playoffs ongoing right now. We have NBA playoffs ongoing, and that's as you can tell on the other side of the coin, AEW is struggling with time slots with Rampage. Yeah. And they are struggling with ratings anyway. At the end of the day, that was the only way I could say, not the only way. The only way I could defend it is it's prestigious. It's more names. Because if you look at SmackDown, you have Seth Rollins, you have Finn, you have The Miz, you have Cody and Finn. Like, there's not really like 8. If you were doing an 8-person tournament on Raw, there's not necessarily eight big names or eight prestigious names.
Yeah.
Unless you're going to put like a Gunther. Like, unless you were going to put a Gunther or put
very simply, do a better brand split then.
But even then, if you're going to look at the main card, there's not enough talent to split. There's not 8. There's not 8 big names you could put on each brand. In that sense,
that's
like
true.
There's the mid card. There's that. Like, I mean, even then, Miz as just a former world champion, that they were obviously he's going to be included because of that status. But I mean, I don't know. Like that was the only thing that I said is like it's prestigious. There's more names. You can have you can have a Raw versus SmackDown match. I think it telegraphs it too much that the Raw name wins. Unless we're in the position to unless the only way I see the SmackDown person winning is if Cody's taken out, Brock subs in, and it's Brock and Lashley in the finals. That's the only way I see Lashley winning.
No. I want to stop you there, Coby. I don't want to hear that.
Yeah, no, it was on a roll and he just wouldn't stop.
Oh, no. But we got a few comments. We got Matt Williams in the comments saying Cross and Scarlett were so hot in the streets before coming to WWE. Shame where they both are now. Should be the biggest heel couple in the company. Both are money, and I'll agree with you there. But they were also very, very hot in NXT. I presume you're talking about when they were released from WWE and they were doing stuff together on the Indies. Because they didn't do.
Well, I mean, even then they didn't do much. They didn't do much.
It was more.
I think the one match I know they did something was like him and Jacob Fatu.
Yeah.
Like Scarlett was doing other stuff. I think for one of that new indie shows, that Circle 6 promotion, Scarlett ended up doing an intergender bra and panties match or something like that. Like, they weren't hot in the indies. They weren't. They weren't necessarily tearing the streets off. And I mean, I was more interested because I think I remember Cross saying he was being pitched and he was in talks with Ring of Honor before Tony bought it. I mean, that's interesting. Yeah. But that was like the only big thing because they would have never gone back to Impact. And Ring of Honor was at the time a dead fish, and now it's still weird.
But yes, I mean, it was truly NXT where they were on fire. Anthony Manzano in the comments says hi, and he pitches. Honestly, I think WWE debuts Bron Breakker during this tournament, and he's the first guy to win. The title, I mean, he's in a feud with Carmelo Hayes, so unfortunately it wouldn't make sense. But
Well,
agree.
it would make sense a call up, but he's currently booked for Battleground. He ain't gonna go to Saudi.
Yeah, that's what I'm
fly
saying.
back. He's not gonna fly back and wrestle for Battleground.
Yeah,
I think that's
the
mathematically
world champion
impossible.
loses to the NXT champion. It would not be a good look. But
Yeah.
it's one way to make the title.
Well,
look
I
bad.
mean, at that point you'd have to have Breaker squash the hell out of Carmelo. And that's how you end that pay-per-view.
And then how do you do the titles? And Braun Breaker's got all the titles. Then they've got to merge the NXT and WWE Championship. Not the WWE, the World Championship. Then Roman faces, it's a double champion versus double champion at WrestleMania. And Roman's a quadruple champion. That's what's going to happen
Hey,
here.
that's the money. That's the money. We need more belts on Roman Reigns, man.
Oh, gosh. I'm going to have to move on before we get carried away. But that's all that's been announced for Raw tonight. And I mean, listen, we've tried to stretch it out for as long as we can, but at the end of the day, I think we all kind of think it's Seth winning tonight. But let's answer your questions now, as after all, it is Mailbag Monday, and you guys have submitted some questions via our Instagram stories. So let's have a read. First up, we have Jacob sending in, is wrestling more popular now than it's ever been? And this is actually a very, very interesting question because, I mean, listen, if you look at it stats-based, the answer is absolutely 100,000,000% yes. It is more popular now than it's ever been. In every single country, you can argue that, apart from, well, in terms of WWE specifically, you can argue it in every single country apart from the US. And you can still argue it there, but I mean, you can't argue it anywhere else outside of the US because the metrics, the numbers are up massively internationally outside of the US. Massively up than they've ever been before. It's not even close. Now, you talk about the US specifically. Now, that's a bit of a different animal, right? Because you've, of course, got to look at the Monday Night Wars. Viewership-wise, obviously, it was way, way, way higher back then. But social media, YouTube views, all this needs to be taken into effect, right? And consideration. Because nowadays, people don't watch as much TV. That's just the way it is. But the real question is, are as many people watching it across different platforms now who were watching it back then in the United States? I don't think so, because back then it really did seem, I wasn't there, I didn't grow up during it, I don't live in the States, but from people who I've spoken to, it seemed like when they go into school every day, everybody had been watching it and all of that. I don't think it's quite the same anymore. I will also say, though, the last year or so is the hottest it's probably been since then. But I probably would not say in the United States it's now more popular than it's ever been. But worldwide, 110%. It's not even close. It's hotter than it's ever been. WWE, at least. In terms of the UK, you can argue, and you can do the same in Japan. You can do the same in Mexico, too. You can argue that promotions perhaps were local promotions, local to the country promotions, were doing better a few decades ago, such as World of Sport in the UK. But in terms of WWE, it's doing better internationally than it's ever been doing. No arguments about it. Ticket-wise, it's also been doing better than it ever has been. So, truthfully speaking, yes, I think it is worldwide more popular than it's ever been. Even TV-wise, WWE are getting more viewers than they ever have worldwide. But in the United States, no, I don't think it is. But I'll stop rambling on now, and I'll pass to you, Chaos. What do you think?
Oh yeah, definitely. I think it's business has been booming. I wouldn't even say the past year. I'm pretty confident. I'm banking on it. I'm pretty sure everyone can agree that once a certain old man left the helm in disgrace, that's when business actually started booming. I don't think if he was still at the helm, I don't think the Royal Rumble would have made mad numbers. I don't think that, all the other B-level pay-per-views would have did big numbers. So yeah, it's and I also don't think that Mania would have been so globally so successful. It would have been successful, but I think with him not being there at the time, before Sunday, before night 2, then I don't think it would have been as successful if he was still at the helm. So definitely because it was a breath of fresh air. There was more intrigue. Everyone was refreshed from the just see what's the world like without Vince McMahon at the helm. So the interest definitely risen up internationally. I think their new business model definitely helps. It helps at the UK and just getting a random one-off SmackDown or Raw show, and the occasional house show, doing not just a B level pay-per-view, but major pay-per-views in other international markets definitely help. And obviously, I think because they see the fanfare, when US fans see the fanfare from Puerto Rico, the UK, to a further extent, maybe Saudi Arabia, they think, okay, no, wrestling is still cool. Let me get back into it and also give that same energy back, So yeah, I think it just goes around and around, really. But yeah, definitely it's more popular in terms of business, 110%. In terms of obviously people like talking about it in school and all that kind of stuff, like you said, I don't think it's reached that part, but yeah, it's definitely more popular than ever in the modern era, 110%.
Yeah. And I mean, you mentioned Vince and Vince's booking, well, Triple H's booking specifically, improving the product, which it undoubtedly has. But at the same time, a lot of the reasons why they've been making so much money it's Nick Khan calls. However, at the same time, Nick Khan was there. He's been there for the last few years. He was there this time last year, and he was very much involved this time last year. And yet, Backlash, the sponsorship revenue was up 98% this year. So it makes me believe, was perhaps Vince, not only from a booking standpoint, rejecting pitches and all that, but was he not letting Nick Khan kind of do his thing? Was maybe Nick Khan a bit more restricted than we thought he was?
I think so. I mean,
yeah,
I'd say that another thing as well. What Nick Khan might have been there last year, but also during that time there was also budget cuts, massive releases. True. That was under the Vince's helm. So yeah, you maybe.
Well, that was because of Nick Khan.
In fairness, I know
that is Nick Khan.
It was a Nick Khan call for that.
I know. I'm not saying it's Nick Khan, but I mean, still, like, he was there he saw the good and the bad, and now he's getting more freedom. You can see it's coming through now, like with his business plan. So yeah, in terms of restrictedness, I think I don't think he had that much power, even though he had a lot of power when you look at it. But at the time, I don't think he did. So yeah, that's what I'm getting.
No, absolutely, and I mean. Nick Khan is very, very good at his job. I mean,
clearly.
Listen, if his history doesn't tell you that much, well, just look at what he's done in WWE. And we've got Anthony Manzano in the comments saying viewership since Vince has gone back in charge has decreased. Well, here's the thing. If you look at anything over the past 9 months, viewership's decreased. If you look at anything over the last 24 months, viewership decreased. Certain things increased. Well, a lot of things increased with viewership during the pandemic because of that reason. People were inside. WWE didn't really, but a lot of things did. But now everything's back out and everything's open again. Viewership's down basically everywhere. Viewership's also a statistic, which in this day and age, it's not the only thing to be relied on. It means to be honest, because it is a factor, Coby, but it's only a factor. There's still social media, YouTube, all these types of things are just as important. And they also earn just about as much money. Subscription models, the Peacock views, which are up massively, which is actually WWE's main source of income almost, right? It is slightly, I think, total, if you include add Raw and SmackDown, it is slightly more the TV shows. But honestly, viewership figures, people put too much emphasis into them. They don't mean as much as people think they do in this day and age. And it's something which wrestling fans who, let's be honest, a lot of wrestling fans don't really understand business, don't realize that viewership figures don't mean that much in this age. But Coby, what is your thoughts about this? Is wrestling bigger than ever?
I think wrestling is, I don't want to say it's at the same level of like that, because like we said, the Attitude Era, wrestling was the cool thing. You were the cool kids if you were watching the Attitude Era.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, wrestling's not in that position. It's not. Wrestling is in the position where it is constantly going viral. at least in the sense of WWE, almost every pay-per-view is having those
record
high
breaking.
numbers. Like we just said, Bad Bunny had 40 million plus views on his videos and his clips or whatever. At the end of the day, WrestleMania had that with Snoop Dogg, with all that. The Rumble, we had it with Logan Paul. There's a bunch of moments that are happening, especially in WWE, and I think that's I don't want to say that's the genius of what WWE are doing, but WWE's doing that and pushing that, and they are succeeding in the new sense of social media. You got to go viral. At the end of the day, it's not. I don't want to say it's as popular because it's still not the position of it's the cool thing to watch. But 100%, if you look at WWE and what they've been doing the past 9-ish months, they've been breaking records. They've been breaking pay-per-view records, and from I would say it was like January to WrestleMania, they were breaking records every televised show. Almost, and probably other house shows were too.
Yeah,
they are extremely selling. Well, exactly. They are extremely selling big. WWE is doing hot, and as much as I don't want to say it, aside from All In, the London tickets for AEW, they're not doing hot. No. They're not.
The double or nothing tickets WWE, badly.
WWE's last 9 months has been very bad for AEW.
I honestly, I don't even know if you can just say it's WWE's fault, to be honest, because I do think there's space for two major promotions. I really, truly do. But like we've touched upon, and we touched upon it before the show, Coby, discussing it, the double or nothing tickets are not selling well right now, which is very bad. So despite the fact that
I think they're at about 60-something% capacity,
and
full.
It's very.
I mean that I don't know if that's an oversaturation of the Las Vegas market, because they've done Vegas for every double or nothing aside from the COVID ones. Perhaps. But at the end of the day, like, I don't know what it is, and it's like, yes, we can say they are selling massive for All In, but at the end of the day, the U.S. markets aren't doing good right now. They aren't. It's almost like they're succeeding with the top, like their debuts. Like they're selling. They sold good for Forbidden Door, and they're selling good for their Canadian shows because they haven't been here before. At the end of the day, they're struggling to sell Vegas again when they succeeded very well at the beginning. I don't know. Like, is the U.S. are they oversaturating the U.S. market? I don't know.
I just thought the card is not as intriguing. I think that's what it is.
That's a good point as well. That's the other worrying thing too.
They've. I mean, sorry to interrupt that. They've sold double or nothing, no problem, without matches being announced.
Yeah,
we have one match announced, and they're struggling. But at the end of the day, they've sold double or nothing.
They have before.
They've sold double or nothing without problems, without matches being announced.
The worrying thing is when they include this upcoming Saturday show, which they've announced multiple for in the last couple of days. They've announced multiple weeks worth of it. So if they're doing 2 live TV tapings per week, because they've done it a few times to Rampage, not a few times. They do about once every month or two where they have a live Rampage. Yeah. But every single week having 2 live arena TV shows, that's when it's like, are we going to be right or are we going to be wrong? Let's really hope we're wrong, as I really, really want AEW to succeed. But yes, tickets could well become a bit of a concern if double or nothing is...
Sorry, just to wrap it up. My rebuttal to that, obviously, 2022? Was that... When was that? No. Oh, yeah. So last year, obviously, that one sold well because people knew that CM Punk was going to be there. The year before that, was the first pay-per-view that everyone came back?
That was Dailies.
Yeah, so that was Dailies. So that was easy. That was easy going to be doing. 2020 did it go? Did that happen? Or was that
they didn't sell. It was pandemic,
isn't it?
It was well, that was pandemic. It
and
was their own personal.
The one prior, obviously, is what is the debut pay-per-view. So that is why it sold. Now things are normal, like you said. Yeah, I think now everyone's like, okay, show me the card now, like early as possible. So yeah, that's my cut. That's why I think that's why they were the one sold. But we'll see.
No, I mean, I do agree. The card has a big thing. Like the card has a big what?
Yeah,
It's a big factor of whether or not people want to show up. Like people
Yeah.
are going to say, "Well, is this Dynamite even going to be worth it? Or is
Yeah.
this pay-per-view worth it?" I mean, and I mean that's also the whole idea of look at the price of the pay-per-view if you're ordering it online.
Yeah.
Big money.
It's a good point.
It's
It's a
big.
good point there.
It is massive money.
Yeah.
And
They're
the,
expensive.
and obviously we're going to cover this later. That's going to be a massive problem come August when we have All In and All Out in the same 10-day
Yeah.
span. That makes no sense.
I mean, there's some people
Like
because of
offer one for free.
One of the posters, it said something about Warner Brothers Discovery, an anniversary for them as well as Wembley. So was it in one of the press releases? So that kind of makes me believe that that's going to be on TBS for free or something. So if that's the case, then yeah, that would make a lot of sense. But I mean, even Clash, they did that in the UK. They made it well, not free, but it was on BT Sport. But yes, let's basically move on from that now before we get to a big debate between
the shouting matches,
WWE and AEW. I mean, listen, at the end of the day, we all want tickets to sell. I really, really hope they do. But now let's move on to the next question. Oh no, it's another AEW debate one. And this question is, do you think Jade Cargill is overrated? And my answer to that question is a resounding no. I do not. I think she's done a really, really good job. She kind of got thrown in at the deep end, to be honest with you, in this industry. But she's done really, really well. She's been built up really, really well. One of the best built wrestlers, actually. One of the best wrestlers AEW have built. The only issue is they haven't built the rest of the division. There's just nobody to feud with her. It's like, who's going to take the title off her? Do we even care about the feuds at this point? Because it feels like she's not going to lose. It's a bit of a mess because the women's division's been booked poorly. But she herself has been booked well, and I'm a big fan of hers. I think she's great. Coby, I'll pass it to you next. What do you think about Jade Cargill? Is she overrated?
I mean, the one thing that instantly came to mind seeing this question as one of the ones that were offered is in the recent Cargill versus Ty Valkyrie match, we saw Jade Cargill do Destroyer, Canadian Destroyer, whatever you want to call it. And just this last year, we were hearing all the, like Jade Cargill talking about who she's working with and who she's training with. Last year, she was saying she was training with Bryan Danielson. To me, that doesn't add up. If you start I don't want to say she's regressed. If she stopped training with Bryan Danielson, but I don't know. I think it's a matter of yes, she's been built. She's been built correctly. She has been thrown in the deep end. But at the end of the day, and I agree, this is where one of the few times I'm going to agree with Ignacio and what he said yesterday. Bianca Belair is in the position of she's going to struggle to carry someone with a good match, and I like Bianca's not the EST. Cargill's in the same boat. We are in the same position of where they are struggling booking wise. Period. And we're supposed to care about Jade Cargill. Like what? There are not enough. Unless you're going to start throwing her in with people unless you're throwing her in with Britt Baker, there's not many people you're going to care if Jade Cargill faces. And the booking is what is like kind of leaving that stain on Jade Cargill's ability. I think she's training and she's developing and she's solid in the ring. But the biggest thing is she carries herself like she's a top star. She does. Yeah. And that's what kind of makes her different.
Yeah, she has the feel of a top star. What about you, though, Chaos? What do you think? Do you think that she's overrated, or do you think that she's actually underrated even?
No, I think you pretty much made the most sense, Ben, in terms of, she's great. You've seen her mature in her appearance, her move sets, and, just you've seen someone actually evolve on TV. I always knew that she was going to be a big star. all the way from when she had the tag match with Shaq. That there was a lot of potential there, and yeah, she just evolved her game ever so much. It's there's only so much you can handle. She's definitely not underrated or overrated. The only reason you think of that is just because of how poorly they've been booking her. Simple as, and not just her, but the people to face her. Really, I mean, there was numerous chances that someone could have easily taken the title off her, and then you could build off the feud of that. But now, because of like, all right, she beats them, and then they're back down the pile. Like, there's nothing to go off, and now literally they are running out of people.
Yeah.
We thought that it was done when I can't remember who she fought, and that's when you saw Taya Valkyrie come out. But now, like, for some reason, I don't see why they keep on distancing her from Britt Baker, Soraya, Sheeta, Serena Deeb. Like, there are other people there, but for some reason, they're just not mixing it with them. So
Well, I'll tell you why, Chaos. It's because they're doing this stupid Outcast versus Originals feud, which is just a complete.
oh yeah, I hate that. Absolute. It's ridiculous. Yeah, they need to. I hope that gets cut off quick. But yeah, they need to really, because right now, yeah, it's not looking good, and that's what people are kind of turning on her. But it's not her fault. It's just the way the women's division is. So there are some other people that they could definitely bring the best out of her, that actually were the contenders. I don't know what they see in Chris Statlander. I don't think she should be the person to actually take the title from because it looks like they're waiting for her to come back and do it. But yeah, no, I don't think she's overrated. I think she's got a lot more to give. She looks like a superstar. She acts like a superstar. Yeah, give her the world, man. 100%.
Do you think she should become a double champion?
I wouldn't be attested to that. But then obviously you're gonna get all the AEW haters saying they're copying Roman Reigns and all that stuff. So it's she defeat female Roman Reigns, and yeah, she doesn't need that kind of rubbish in her head. So but I wouldn't say no to that. I think if she's that dominant, definitely make her go for the next title. Why not?
But then it's even a matter of who's next. Who dethrones that beast you just made? You don't have anyone unless you're actually getting Mercedes Moné. You don't.
Moné.
Go ahead.
Yeah, exactly. Like unless Tony has her in the pocket when he needs her, that makes no like. I agree. It'd be an interesting way to go.
Moné.
It'd be. God damn it, Ben. Yeah, it'd be interesting, but at the end of the day, if you have Cargill at that position, the only person you have Mercedes Moné. Maybe Britt Baker, if you want to put, if you convince her back, because we saw on All Access, if you watch that, she said like, oh, she doesn't want to win the title for another 3-4 years or whatever, something along those lines, which is interesting at the end of the day.
Yeah,
if you don't want to be the top champion, you shouldn't be in wrestling. I can't remember who it was.
No, but she doesn't want to do it again.
Very good quote.
Oh well, yeah. I mean, that's a lot. Yeah, that's a lot of the legends who are saying. Well, if you don't want to be the top, you don't deserve.
She's lost a lot of momentum, Britt Baker. So I think doing that would definitely solidify her and obviously bring her back to the top. So yeah, like she give her make Thingy win both of them, take them both off her. She will be up there, 110%. She needs it more than anybody, really. But yeah.
Yeah. No, absolutely. I mean, it's certainly a possibility. And I mean, thinking about it now, it was kind of a joke when I pitched it. But yeah, her becoming a double champion would make a bit of sense. And then who as a double champion versus Mercedes Moné, if they pull that off, would be a Moné match. It truly would be. But that would perhaps be a first pay-per-view main event for the women in AEW. But we'll have to. There's Coby laughing. I think that match could main event an AEW.
No, I'm laughing at Clark Taylor's comment saying.
Oh, Clark Taylor's in the YouTube comment saying, plus she's a dentist, talking about Britt Baker winning. Well, I mean, she still shouldn't be. She still shouldn't be in the company if she doesn't want to be champion. But Clark's still saying, delightful show, my friends. Thank you very much, Clark. And if you enjoyed this show, please leave a like and subscribe if you're on YouTube. If you're on Spotify, a cheeky 5 stars and a follow would be amazing. We very much appreciate it. And we'll be back here tomorrow, the same time as we are every single day, 7 days a week. Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you tomorrow.